Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Yes, station is ready for the event.
WBUR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Hannah Schnatchy with WBUR.
Hey, Hannah, great to talk with you. I've got you loud and clear.
Hi, Bob, thanks so much for taking the time. So can you tell me a little bit about
Absolutely. Welcome aboard the International Space Station.
Great. Well, so tell me a little bit about what it's like up there. I understand this is your first space mission.
It sure is. It's been a whirlwind. We had a launch on April 27th and spent about a day in the capsule on our way to the International Space Station. And since then, we've just been working really hard. We had our crewmates, Crew 3, up here that kind of taught us the ropes for the way things were working lately. And then they left a few days later, and then we've been getting into all the wonderful science experiments that we have here on the space station, and then obviously doing the maintenance tasks we need to do to keep it up and running. So it's been amazing, and then when I have some free time, I run down and take a look out the window, and it's just absolutely spectacular.
And can you tell me, what you see out the window now? I mean, where above the Earth are you?
So we are just south of the Arabian Peninsula, about to cross into India. And so I don't have a window in the module that I'm in right now. I think we are entering a night pass. So we're in a period right now where the space station stays illuminated all the time by the sun, even though the Earth underneath us is dark. And so during this time, we don't get to see the ground at night very much. But during the day, it's absolutely amazing. And just the blues and whites of the oceans and the clouds and how dynamic the weather is really, really neat to observe from up here. And, this period that I was just describing, it only lasts for a week or so, and then we'll get back into our normal cadence of days and nights and things like that. But it's really interesting because at night you get to see all the city lights, and that's where you see where the people are. And it's absolutely beautiful at night, too. It just never gets old looking out the window.
Can you tell me a little bit about what life is like on board?
Absolutely. We have our days are packed full. We typically work about a 12-hour day. So we'll wake up in the morning. We have a short meeting with all the control centers around the world. Of course, Houston. There's control centers in Germany, in Russia, and in Japan. And we just make sure we get on the same page before we start our day. And then we all sometimes we're working together, sometimes we're working individually, and we're all conducting these, one of these 250 or more experiments that are on the space station at any given time. And so we're working those all day long. Our schedules are very packed from, 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night. And it's really exciting. It's just a great time to be up here, and we just love working with each other and with all of our international partners. So it's been a blast so far.
And now I understand you come from a military background. How does piloting a spacecraft compare to piloting a military jet?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say the military jets, especially the fighters, in an air-to-air environment, it's very, very dynamic and very unpredictable. And that is not necessarily the case. So that is a place where they diverge a little bit. But I will say in the preparation and the training leading up to it, it's very similar, where we repeat things over and over and over so that it's very rote. And especially emergency procedures and off-nominal type of events, we practice that over and over so that when they happen, we can just react without having to think too much about it. Like, we understand the situation very rapidly, and we're able to respond appropriately. So in that respect, they're very similar. And then once we're here on space station, honestly, most of the operating of the space station is happening from the ground, and we're here to conduct the onboard experiments or do the maintenance that needs done up here. But the actual flying of the vehicle is done by the ground and Sir Isaac Newton as we fly around the Earth.
And now this has been a long-held dream, and it clearly requires so much work to achieve it. Now that you're up there, I mean, how does the dream sort of compare to the reality? Has it surpassed your expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think you can ever truly imagine what it's actually like up here. And so once you get here and you're able to take those dreams and connect them with the reality of being here in a microgravity environment and being able to work with all these wonderful people and do these amazing things up here, it is just beyond compare. So truly blessed to be able to get to do this. And, there's obviously thousands and thousands of people that make that possible for us. And we just happen to be the most visible ones, but there are casts of thousands on the ground that train us and operate the space station day to day. And then obviously each of the astronauts we all have, family, friends, teachers, mentors that we really hold in high esteem, and we wouldn't be here without them. And so it's always important for us to make sure that we acknowledge them, when we talk about achieving these goals and these dreams, and it's because of the support that they gave us along the way.
All right, Bob, is there anything else that you would like to add, or something about what you're doing on the space station, what the scientists are doing that I should have asked you about that I haven't?
Boy, that's a great question. There's just so much going on up here, and it's really hard to kind of put it all into words. We touch all forms of science, from crystal growth and metallurgy to different life sciences and things that will influence the way drugs are made and the effectiveness of drugs that are fighting diseases back on Earth. And so the motto of off the Earth, for the Earth is truly a reality up here, and being able to see that day to day is just spectacular. And so it's really an honor to get to be here, and we're having a blast so far.
All right, Bob, that is it for me. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck up there.
Hey, thanks so much, Hannah. It was great talking with you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the WBUR portion of the event. Please stand by for a voice check from Whtm-Tv.
Station, this is Seth Kaplan with Whtm-Tv, ABC 27 Harrisburg. How do you hear me?
Hey, Seth, I got you loud and clear.
Okay. Well, for the benefit of our audience, joined here by Bob Hines from space. Not every day I get to speak with someone in space. And I know not all astronaut candidates even get to go to space. Bob, can you take us back to the moment when you found out that you would be launching to the International Space Station? How did that feel?
It was obviously a dream come true. I mean, being selected as an astronaut was incredible, and then being in a position to actually get a flight assignment is a real privilege. And it was actually the day after my birthday. I had missed a phone call on my birthday from the chief of the astronaut office, and he finally got a hold of me the next day. So I could have gotten my flight assignment as a birthday present, but it was a day late. But getting that phone call was just amazing. I had settled in for the long haul. A lot of us know that, because of our flight rates these days, that it can be a few years before we get to fly. And so I was not expecting it at all. And so when we got that call, it was a big surprise, and me and my whole family were super, super excited.
Yeah, I was looking at your bio. I see you're a few months older than I am, so I guess I still have time. But I feel like you've accomplished a lot more than a lot of us. Now that you're there, how does it feel? Does it measure up to expectations?
Yeah, it's amazing being up here. Obviously you have these visions as a child of what it's going to be like and what you get to do, and they never exactly match reality, but I would say reality is even better in this regard. The fact that we get to be up here and work together with this amazing crew. We have such a diverse crew and just an amazing group of people with really good sense of humor. We all get along so good. And that's a part that I think growing up I never really thought about. And we talk about it a lot in the Air Force, that the best part of the job is the people, and that is true up here as well. There are some phenomenal things we get to do, but getting to do it with the people and the crew that we get to work with every day, both up here and on the ground, is just truly a blessing, and it's amazing to get to do it, and we're really honored to take part.
It must be. And you mentioned how it's never exactly as you expect. What's something that, for all the preparation, and I know everything you study and zero gravity flight testing, all the rest of it, what's something that you just never expected that just surprised you?
Well, I think there's a couple things. One is the launch. It doesn't matter how good your simulators are or the centrifuge that you go to. Nothing can really prepare you for the experience of the launch when those motors actually light and you get that pop off the launch pad and just the constant acceleration all the way up with the vibration, and then an instantaneous shutdown of the engines as the first stage separates. And then the second stage lights, and you get a pop, and you get pushed back in your seat, and it's just this crazy acceleration that almost feels out of control right until the second when the engine shuts off and you're in orbit. And so that whole 8.5-minute experience was just phenomenal, and I am making sure that I just imprint that in my brain so that I never forget it. The other piece that I don't think you can prepare for is really the looking out the window and what you see out there. High definition cameras have come a long way, and it does a better job of showing what it's like, but until you are surrounded by it and you can look out the cupola in 360 degrees and see the Earth and the stars and the eclipse last night, it is just phenomenal, and nothing can really prepare you for it. It's such a beautiful thing to see.
I would be excited to speak with anybody who's in space, but one reason we here are particularly excited to speak with you is that you are, of course, well, I was going to say from Central Pennsylvania. You're actually from a lot of places. You're a military brat, and you've lived so many places that you actually lived here, if I'm not mistaken, 2 different times. So where, I think Lancaster and somewhere in the Harrisburg, Hershey area. What are your memories of this area?
Yeah, absolutely. And, having moved around a lot like I did, obviously where I graduated high school in Northeast PA is near and dear to my heart. But my grandparents lived in Hershey, and that was the constant in my life as we moved around to all the different places. Coming back to the Hershey-Harrisburg area in central Pennsylvania was, that's just really kind of where it always felt like home, and it still does. My parents still lived back there. And so it's just it's really cool to be talking with you and to be up here and and representing, if even if in a small way, central Pennsylvania and my roots and what it's done for me and developing me as a person. So it is really awesome to be able to talk with you.
Have you tried to find any places that you recognize with I don't know how much you see with a truly naked eye, but with a telescope, like, oh yeah, that's this place?
Yeah, absolutely. That's that's one of the things I always loved about being a pilot, was looking out the window, even if I'm flying on an airliner where I'm not the one driving. Looking out the window, following along, trying to find landmarks, making sure that I know where things are and things that are familiar to me. And this is the same way up here. I get to go look out the window and find my way home and try and. We just did a great flyover of Harrisburg just I think a day or two ago, and it was pretty spectacular. It was hard to get good pictures because it was right in the transition between day and night, so that was a challenge, and I'm an amateur photographer, so I haven't figured that one out yet. But yes, I absolutely do that. It's just a little more challenging doing it at 17,500 miles an hour.
I bet. And in terms of, you talked about what a special place this is for you. Is there anything about your time here that prepared you for this, that now you draw on some life experiences from this part of the world?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, my grandparents live there. I've got lots of friends and family that live there in the area, and they shaped me. The values that I learned, just the general life lessons of hard work and perseverance, all of that comes from my time growing up there in central Pennsylvania. So it's just been a pleasure. It's a real honor to be up here, and I'm so glad that we get to represent and bring all the people that helped me along the way, kind of bring them in some way along on this journey.
I know some people travel to Chicago and they have to adjust to a 1-hour time change. You're orbiting the Earth, I don't know how many times a day. Do you have a regular routine up there? How do you know when to sleep? How does that all work?
Yeah, the overall routine is fairly regular. So to answer your first question or thought, I think the number is about 16 sunrises and sunsets a day. So we orbit the planet every 90 minutes. But we're not based on that. Our clock is a Greenwich Mean Time clock, so basically London time is what we operate on, and that works well for all the control centers that are scattered around the world, from Japan to Houston, Germany, and Russia. So that's a good time. Those are the times that we operate on, and then we work from 7:30 in the morning to 7:30 at night every day. And so that's kind of our cadence. Now, the things that we're doing in the middle of the day, completely different. Every single day, there's so many things that are either that we're fixing or repairing or upgrading on the space station. And if we're not doing that, we're doing all kinds of amazing science that is making things better back on the Earth for pharmaceuticals, metallurgy, crystal growth, any kinds of things that that can help people learn about the natural environment. They can bring that technology back down to the Earth.
It is, of course, an international space station, and it's not just semantics. You're up there with in particular, Russian cosmonauts, and thinking about everything that's happening in the world right now. Can you talk about what that's like culturally to share a space station with people from a country let's face it, even maybe more different now than it has been at some of its over the past few decades?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that is one of the enduring legacies of the space station, is that no matter the political turmoil or strife that is going on back home on the planet, up here we are able to work in harmony and rely on each other to get our mission done. Our cosmonaut crewmates are amazing people, all three of them. They are awesome. We have dinner several times a week with them. And they are just amazing people. We all get along really, really well, and we have a blast together. So it is it's just really an interesting and very neat experience to get up here and to be able to spend time with each other. And I think that's one of the things that we as society kind of miss out on sometimes, is that in the fast-paced social media world, we get snapshots of people. But the great thing up here is that we get to spend 6 months immersed in each other's lives, and we really get to know them. And it is a really special experience.
Less than a minute to go, Bob. I want to ask you quickly. You had a big dream. You lived it. Anything else the rest of us can learn from your experience?
Well, I think I was just a normal kid growing up. I had a passion for airplanes, and I wanted to fly, and that was the dream that I pursued. I worked hard to at least open opportunities. There's no guarantees or anything like that in life, but I would encourage everybody to work hard and try and be as good as you can at whatever it is. But also, my family is really special to me as well. And I think it's important to understand that you can do those things without sacrificing your priorities of your family or your spiritual life, or anything else like that. So I think that is, I hope that that's a lesson that comes out of my being here, is that you can keep prioritizing things the way that you feel is important, but still be successful and still have an opportunity to achieve your dreams.
Bob, I got more than I ever expected in this interview, and particularly in that last answer there, so I appreciate that. Bob Hines joining us from the International Space Station. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was great talking with you.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants from Wbur and Whtm-Tv. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.